Who's your gardener here? Hello, YouTube. I'm out here in the garden assessing the carnage from the 80-mile-an-hour windstorms, and also looking and thinking about what I can plant right now, just because it is July, 1st of August. Doesn't mean you can't go back in and plant some other second crops. Matter of fact, you should be thinking about other crops you can get in there. Radishes, beets, kohlrabi is another good one that you could plant. You could also do some more bunching onions. They would come in before the end of the season. There is just a slew of different types of crops that you can get in now. Squash, I'm gonna go back and do some replant now that the insect pressure is down on the squash. I'm gonna try and get me another crop in before the winter gets here, the cold weather. So you can see the wind blew everything that way. Now the leaves are laid over. My onions are all laid over. So I'm just going to leave them be and let them do what they do. And they whooped up my vines. Any type of vining plant that I had, it just ripped it to shreds. Watermelon is dying. At least these two here are. Squash plant, the spaghetti squash plant is hanging on a little bit, so I'm hoping it might make it. Tomatoes fared good. That trellis held up with 80-mile-an-hour winds. It actually, if you look right here, you can see kind of a divot going that way. It took a lot of the straw that was in the garden and blew it that way. I haven't added any more to it. But it was like straight line winds, and you can see the path that it took. But now my son mowed today, but there is straw strung out here, and it went straight over to my neighbor's down tree right there with the big root ball sticking up in here. So just one of those hazards you never anticipate it, My hoop is leaning a little bit, but it's still standing strong. I pulled and tugged on it. So, and my tomatoes are loaded. Come out here a little bit ago and done some vining, moving them around. I'll give you a real quick tour down up in here. See, they're starting to turn too. I got some big ones in here. I mean, that's one right there. It's pretty good size. I've got some Cherokee purples. Got some really big ones in here. These are going to be good eating tomatoes. Slicing tomatoes is what I call them. These poor little watermelon plants are trying to hang on, but I don't know that they'll make it. It was a rough storm, let's just put it that way. But I still waiting on a call from the insurance company. It just decimated my roof. So that's what insurance is for. All right, what I'm doing out here is I'm pulling some of these guys up. If you've never grown these before, they're fun to grow. They're massive, and I'm pulling them a little bit soon. That noise in the background is my son. He's doing some chainsaw work. That's a cucumber. I have tried to grow cucumbers on this trellis for years, and for some reason, I think it's because of all the chemicals they put on the field here, I have a hard time growing stuff in this little box. I may wind up moving it, just doing away with it. All right, so let's look down in here, see what we got. I pulled a bunch of the big ones already. You know, this here, he's decent size. Down there we go. Yeah. He split open on us. And all I'm doing is I'm ripping the tops off and I'm throwing them in there. But so last year, sorry about the camera work, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Last year I dropped it. Last year I ran across a recipe that I absolutely love. And it's fried radishes. And you fry them in your just a little bit of bacon grease. And I thought, Lord have mercy, it'd take me a heap of regular radishes, to get enough to can up. I canned up, I don't know, 3 or 4 pints last year of radishes, but they were the little small ones. So this year I ran across these, and they are watermelon radishes. And when you cut them open, the reason they call them watermelons because they look like that, but they taste like a radish. Now here's the thing, they're a little milder, but that's okay, because when you cook radishes, all of the heat, you know how radishes are kind of hot sometimes, all the heat goes away. Matter of fact, they've almost got a neutral flavor to them, and they'll take on a lot of the flavors that you are cooking with, you know, whatever spices. Like I said, I boil these or can them, and then when I'm ready to eat them, I drain the water off of them, and I put me a little spoonful of bacon grease in the skillet, and I fry these up with the bacon grease in it, and they take on that bacon grease taste. If you like fried cabbage, you'll probably like it, be my guess. Kind of puts you in the mind of fried cabbage, but the root is obviously a little more chunky, a little more meatier. But that's what I'm doing. Here's something else that's kind of cool that I found out. You could actually use these in your raised beds to help, you know, kind of till your soil. Look at that, where I pulled these out at. Or at least, I don't know, that's my finger, 3 or 4 or 5 inches deep in some places. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. You can see, I mean, I could almost stick my whole fist in there. So you could actually come back, there you go, see all the holes where I pulled them out at. You could almost come back and till this by hand, which I've showed you guys my stuff before. It'll till right up, right by hand, just like that. And I mean, I haven't touched this. I haven't done anything with it since I put this liner in this spring. And a lot of people throw rocks out of their garden. Where do you think your minerals come from? I just leave them in there. So, but yeah, I mean, you can come through and work this ground up, flatten it out, and I'm ready for another crop. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put some carrots in here. So I've got some imperial carrots. Put them in. They always give me a pretty good crop, and that'll be my second crop of carrots. One in the spring, and then I'll get one out this fall. So beets are coming along. They're quite ready, some of them. So they'll be next on the agenda to get in the canning room, but not before the beans. I've already done 1 cannon of beans. If you have never planted Roma 2 beans, now these are like a flat Italian bean. These guys get anywhere from 6 to 8 inches long and as wide as my thumb anyways. Let's see if I can get one out here. You can see Man, they just produce like gangbusters. I mean, I picked these Monday. No, I'm sorry. I picked these, oh, I think it was maybe Friday, Thursday or Friday. And here it is Monday, and they're just loaded. Loaded, man. My vine and beans hung in there in the storm. They're doing okay. I didn't lose anything. I planted rattlesnake pole beans this year. They call them that because when the sunlight hits them, it turns them kind of this purple color, splotchy purple color. And anyways, we're going to get a pretty good crop off of them, I think. They got pretty little purple flowers. Most vine and beans are, you know, white flowers, but these are pretty little purple ones. So, but that's what we're doing. Out here pulling these watermelon radishes up, getting ready for my fall crop. Get them planted and get them in the ground so seeds can germinate. You know, I got cabbage I'm going to plant, and then like I said, I'm going to plant some carrots up in here, and beets are going to come out here pretty soon, so these carrots will have a pretty good sized bed to grow in. Onions will be ready too, pretty much. I'm going to go through and pull some of these bigger ones. As you can see, I've got some pretty good sized onions down in there. Some more. It's hard to see because everything's laid over this way, but what a mess. I thought most of my pepper plants were broke off, but I went back and looked, and they flexed pretty hard, but they're still there. They're still together. I just thank the Lord that nobody was hurt. We were actually at a high school graduation ceremony, and we got word of some bad weather over here, and oh, I hated to come back and look, but like I said, at least nobody got hurt. All right then, who's your gardener here? Lord bless. Have a good day.